Did you know that one of the Europe's most recognizable landmarks appears on millions of 5 euro banknotes? Today we are visiting the Pont du Gard, the most visited ancient monument in France. The Roman Empire transformed much of Europe through its roads, bridges, and aqueducts. Its influence can still be seen today, even in the currency we carry in our pockets. The 5 euro note represents the Roman era, a period that left behind some of the world's most remarkable engineering achievements. Among the finest surviving examples is the Pont du Gard. For nearly 20 centuries, this extraordinary structure has stood above the Gordon River, a testament to Roman ambition and ingenuity. Located near Nimes in southern France, Pont du Gard attracts over a million visitors every year. Our journey begins at the visitor center before walking towards this extraordinary Roman masterpiece. And then suddenly it appears, rising above the Gordon River. This engineering marvel has stood here for nearly 2000 years. So, Pont du Gard means bridge over the water. So now we can see three levels of arches, the one at the bottom here, okay, and then the next layer, and then the top layer. So over the bottom layer arch, we are going to walk and cross the bridge. So we are at the bottom layer, and next to the arches, what we see on the right hand side is the middle layer. And this is the one side of the bridge, the river portion, and this is the bridge over which we are walking. And then on the opposite side we could see the river and the water. So even though from far they look too small for us, but this is the middle layer arch. You can see it's very humongous. I mean, size wise, believe me, massive structure. And there is a huge history to this, and there is a good reason why it was recognized by the UNESCO as a heritage site. And this was built in 19 BCE, that's 19 years before Christ, to get the water over this river to the Nimes city. And this river name is God, and hence the name Pont du Gard. So in those days, Nimes was a very prominent city for the Romans, and the population was increasing. And at those times, it was almost around the 20,000 people. And for those number of people, the water resources within the Nîmes city was not good enough. So, and hence the water was available at that time only from the fountain in the Nimes, which wasn't good enough, and they decided to transport the water from the Ure River in Ouse, which is about 50 kilometers from the Nimes, and they have literally done that excellent amount of construction to transport the water from Ure River in Ouse to Nimes city. Massive amount of structures they have built done in those times, even to think about it is an amazing task that they have done. So here it is, Pont du Gard. So to construct that 50 kilometers bridge and this Gordon River, which we have in front of us, was kind of a obstruction for them, and hence they decided to build this massive, beautiful bridge to overcome the problem. So the aqueduct, which was arranged on the top layer of those arches, helped transport 8 million gallons of the water daily to the Nimes from Ouse. Now, this aqueduct helped or functioned for more than 5 centuries. So here is the Gordon River. Beautiful trees, green lush landscape, and this is the Pont du Gard with the 3 levels of arches. In the first layer, we have 6 arches, and in the second layer, we have 11 arches, and in the third layer, we have 35 arches, over which the aqueduct was arranged to transport the water crossing this Gordon River. And these 3 level of arches form the height of 47 meters from the river level to the top. The entire structure weighs almost 50,000 tons. I know it looks too small in the picture, but then as when we were crossing the bridge from one end to another end, walking over the lower level of arches, we have seen how big the middle level arches and the width of that construction was humongous, and the height itself was like, when we were looking at it, wow factor. And this was entirely constructed using the stones and the mortar, as is famous with any of the Roman constructions. So the entire width of this bridge is about, as of today, it's 273 meters. But when it was originally constructed, it was about 360 meters, covering another additional 11 arches, which we do not see nowadays. The arches at the lower level are of 24.52 meters width to allow the water of the Gordon River to flow and handle the pressure in the rainy days. And it is the most visited monument in France.
Exactly. We are now looking at the most visited monument. Make sure it is added to your bucket of list. Not only this monument, the other monuments within the Nîmes city are also worth looking at. The amphitheater, as well the temple, which is in complete format, like including the walls and the roof, which we could never see in any of the monuments we have covered earlier in the Greece or maybe Italy or France. So now we are walking towards further, uh, almost trying to be very close to the bridge, and to have a view of the arches very closely, and to see how strong, how wide they have constructed the arches, and in fact the entire bridge.
As I came here in the early hours, there aren't many visitors currently, but just about after an hour or so, we will see loads of visitors.
This is a view of the bridge from almost close next to it, and that's the lower level arch, which is very very wide. And if it's actually, you could see that the half of it, the first half of it, also has a road for us to cross from one end of the bridge to the other end, and then on the second half of the that arch there, we have the second level of middle tier arches built, and over which the top tier arches were based on, and on top of which we have the aqueduct pipes. And there's the kind of a forest around the river, the beautiful area. So one more interesting thing for you, as we have noticed, there are two layers of these bridges, like the lower arch we have seen, and over the first half of it, we know that we have discussed that there is a middle layer arches, and then on top of which the top layer arches were built. And now there is some interesting fact of the second half of the bridge, after over which we have walked to cross from that end to this end. So now, if you look at this, that information there, what it says, this was constructed in 1745, which is the second half of the bridge. After 1700 years, the actual Romans built this aqueduct. Amazing. So that's another fact here. So it is time to say goodbye to the Pont du Gard. It was an excellent couple of hours I spent here. Make sure you also visit. So we are allowed to walk over the top layer of the bridge, but that's only possible between the July and August, along with a guide. So now we could see clearly, this is the middle layer of arches, massive, and which is standing tall on the first half of the lower level of arches. And this bridge, we are walking to reach the other end of the this bridge. This was constructed, as we discussed earlier, in 1745, little over 1700 years after the Pont du Gard was built by Romans. Beautiful Garden River once again. So we were too early for our trip, and there are lots of people here now. So lots of tourist buses coming. But unfortunately, the public transportation is a bit too bleak, which is only one service. And it will take us at 12:30, which is another 3 hours from here, from now. So we are waiting for the bus. And here is the bus stop. We are waiting for our bus to Nimes. So here is our bus, Pont du Gard to Nimes. It's 3 services on the weekends: 12:45, 4 o'clock, and 6:15 in the evening.